Okay, Holly, so you scored 60 on the last calculator allowed paper that I marked for you, so let's see if you can improve on that. £36, right, so you've made a mistake straight away because the flower pots are 45 pence each, so you need to do 0.45 times 8, and that doesn't come to £36, it comes to £3.60. Similarly, this one doesn't come to £31.80, it comes to £31.88. I guess you misread that on your calculator screen. That one does come to £13.92. So let's see what we get now if we add, and no, straight away that's going to be wrong because you haven't added in, have you? No, you haven't added in that £35.90 up there. So you're only going to get 1 out of the 3 marks for that. For your 10%, it should be £8.20 because the next digit up is 5 or more. So it should be, not be £8.19 but £8.20. However, at this point on the paper, it's the fact that you're finding 10% they're more concerned with, so you would get that mark. Meters squared is correct, litres is correct, meters is correct. They wouldn't measure a sack of potatoes in grams. Maybe in a supermarket a bag of potatoes, unlikely, or even that usually is measured in kilograms. 3 marks for that. B, F and G is correct. It's F they're looking for because G is then further down, but it's not wrong, you're going to get the marks. So 4, 7, 9 for that first page. And symmetry is good. £99.20 is good. It's divide, not times for the mean. Yes, you do add them up, but you then times them. You divide them by the number of numbers, not times. And this you have to put in order of size before you find the middle. So the method there that's important is that you order them and then find the middle. Total for the page 7. That's correct, that's correct, that's correct. Good, 7 marks. 3 meters is no good. A tall adult would be 2 meters. So you're saying that a normal car in height is bigger than a height of an adult, so that's not good enough. Your method here, the height on page car is that, and on page church is that. That's fine, but what you then need to do is see how many times the car fits into the height. So you'd have to do 7.7 divided by 0.5 equals, and then that is what you multiply by your height. So there's too many mistakes in there for you to get any marks, I'm afraid. 7 for the page. 3 and 6 and 7, and that should be 5. That one was correct. So 3 marks for that. 29 is right. For this, you have to do the opposite of subtracting 3, which is adding 3, then doing the divide. So you're not going to get the mark for that because your method is wrong. This you have to describe in words. Add 3 each is correct, but you're not writing the word 3. Double the number is wrong, it's halving the number. Taking the previous number, dividing by 2, and so on. So even though you've done it right, the mark isn't for writing down the next number, it's for explaining. So it can't give you either of those marks. 4 for the page. Right, those are all wrong. What you need to do is use this information here, okay? What you've done is you've created your own units, okay? So you're saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 is correct, 0, 4 is correct, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 is probably correct. But it's telling you that it's 12, from there to there is 12, from there to there is 4. So you need to use that information. Okay, so nice try. You understand coordinates, so that's good, but you just misunderstood the question. That's correct. That's correct. No, that's not correct. What you need to do there is, well, we've done those now this week. The opposite of dividing by 4 is multiplying by 4. So you do 8 times 4 and get 32. So on this one, that's correct, but that's equal to negative 13. You're at negative 3, you're going down another 10 to negative 13. So your method's right, but your answer's wrong. That is correct. This isn't. It's at least 3. Okay, you have given the probability of exactly 3. Okay, 18 divided out of 50 is exactly 3. These 3 patients here have also got at least 3 visitors, so you'd need to include those, and that would be 21. So 1 mark there. You've correctly 12, 28, 54, 85. You've correctly done that, but it doesn't add up to 97. It adds up to 107. So you get your method mark, which is good, but you lose your answer mark. Total for the page 2, 3, 4, 5. You got that right, but boy, have you made hard work of it. You're allowed to use a calculator. All you need to do is write 36% as a decimal, which is 0.36, and multiply it by 72, and that gives you the answer straight away. This isn't 78% of 120, it's 78 out of 120. If you got in a test, if this was what you scored, 78 out of 120 on this paper, on the front of it I would write 78 out of 120. To turn it into a percentage, you do that, and then on your calculator you can just type that in exactly as you see it there. Use the fraction button. 78 over 120 times 100 equals 65. So I can't give you any marks for that one. 2 for the top. That's correct. These are all correct. The bottom one isn't. It's 48. 16 times 3 is 48. But you've drawn your angles wrong. So let me just show you how to do that. So you've drawn your first line up the page. Put the center at the center. Line up 0. And then your first one was 126 degrees. So you're going to go around the top to 120, 125, 126 and mark that on, and that is service. And then for the next one, and I don't think this is what you've, I think this is what you've done, so that's all service. What you then have to do for brakes, which is 81 degrees, is you've got to turn your angle measure now, so the 0 is lining up with the end of that slice to become the start of the next slice. So the next slice is 81 degrees, so 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 81 is there, mark that on, and so on. Okay, so that's what you do. You turn, so you would turn your angle measure now so that the 0 is at the end of the last slice, start of the next slice, and keep going. Anyway, you get 3 out of 4 for that, because your method is good. 3, 5 for the page. That's good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. 3 marks, good. This is that 100? Let me just see how far out you are there. So that's your line. So let me measure it. 0 on north. So we had to do 146, and that is good. So your angle is correct. You should have drawn the line in. Okay, that's 146. So your bearing is right, but your point C is in the wrong place. 4 kilometers using this scale. 2 centimeters is 1 kilometer. So 2 centimeters would be, sorry, 2 kilometers would be 4 centimeters. 3 kilometers 6, 4 kilometers 8. So you would measure 8 centimeters down that line, which takes you to there. So that's where C would be. So you get 1 mark for that. This is completely wrong with you. Watch how I do it on the video and then try it again, and then go and practice utility bills on the Jones the Sum website. So there's no credit for that, unfortunately. 4 for the page. That's good. Blue and yellow is correct. Those are the correct figures, but you have to add them up. So the method is adding them up. You haven't shown me you're going to try the right method, so I can't give you that mark. That is good, and that is good too. So 8 for the page. That is correct. Okay, you can do that much more easily using a calculator than the way that you've done it. Okay, let me show you. Instead of wherever the x is, you're going to write a bracket, and in the bracket you're going to put what x needs to be. So instead of x, bracket 1.4 cubed, plus 2 bracket, instead of x, bracket 1.4 squared, plus instead of x, 1.4. And you type it on your calculator exactly as it's written there. So if you just watch now, 5 bracket 1.4 close bracket, and cubed is this little x with a square above it, and where the square appears you put a 3. Then we go down, plus 2 open bracket 1.4. You could use the same button again, but we've got a squared button on the calculator, plus open bracket 1.4 equals, and there's your 19.04. Okay, so yours is slightly out, but that's probably because you've had to do some rounding. That's showing you that if you put 1.4 into that equation, you get a value which is less than 20. What you then do is you repeat that equation, but you put 1.5 in, and you'll see that you get an answer which is bigger than 20. So then your explanation is, well, 1.4 is too small, 1.5 is too big, so it must be something in between. Not quite enough work there to earn a mark, I'm afraid. Have a look how I do that on the paper, and then go and practice some. This is quite challenging, but see what you can follow. So Holly, as I said last time, you scored 60, so that's a tough act to follow. Let's see how you've done. 9, 16, 23, 27, 32, 37, 41, 49. So not as good this time, but not a disaster by any means. It is a grade E. You're 6 marks from a C. 6 marks from a D, and you are 21 marks away from a C. Now, there are quite a few careless little slips in there. Straight away there you've lost 3 marks. So go through what you got wrong, see if you can easily put it right. Take a look what you've left out, watch me do it, see how much of that you can pick up, and I'm sure you'll get back to 60 pretty quickly.